Hello. I did an episode of this show before, and I got a lot of feedback, and most of the feedback was that I'm boring and slow. So none of that. Also, I had a very comprehensive plan for what this week's episode was going to look like, but I got sick. I think I have COVID. I think I have the Sigma variant, if I'm being honest. So watch out for that in the news. But because of those two factors, this is going to be a very fast episode. We're going to get right into it, okay? So here are 13 reasons why. One, I'm not going to make any more TikToks ever because it's stupid. And two, why political TikTok, especially leftist TikTok, is dead. Welcome to the Late Capitalism Show. Okay, that's enough of that. Reason number one, TikTok is a time suck. The average American user of TikTok spends 68 minutes on the app every single day. UK is about 60 minutes. That's a huge amount of time that people are spending on the app when they could be doing other things with their lives. But it's even worse for creators because TikTok knows that the best consumer for TikTok is a creator of TikToks. Creators have more reasons to be on the app. They need to stay up to date with what's going on. They need to make sure their own videos are doing well and responding to comments. And because this mechanism is very clear, TikTok will take advantage of it. And they do this to me. If you look at some of this data, you can see that my average TikTok usage is between 12 and 19 hours a week. Number two, if you battle with the algorithm wins. Now, you may be thinking, if you heard that last argument that TikTok is a huge time suck, well, why don't you just get off the app, SMH, go outside, touch some grass, pet a cat, clean your room, 12 rules for life, SMH. But it's not so simple. I'm kind of doing the John Berger hand gestures. I kind of like that. Even though it seems like it's an individual choice at first in order to stay on the app, keep scrolling, or do something else, it's actually not. It's a battle. It's a battle between you and your little monkey brain against an algorithm. And that algorithm is a lot smarter than a little monkey brain. Why? Because it was developed by a team of hundreds of computer scientists. Not only that, it was trained on billions of users' data. So you have this algorithm that's entire objective function or purpose is to keep you scrolling on the app versus you and your little monkey brain that's addicted to dopamine that's trying very hard to not keep scrolling but will lose. And the additional dimension of this battle between your brain and the algorithm is that once you become a creator on TikTok, you start becoming an algorithm. You, just like the algorithm, start sitting there thinking about what your viewers might want to see. How can I anticipate their needs? How can I make content that will keep them looking at me and keep them looking at the app and keep them looking at me on the app? And so you become an algorithm. Number three, TikTok does not fairly compensate its creators. Now, 21st century sex symbol and TikTok influencer Hank Green made a really excellent YouTube video about this. Basically, YouTube pays about 55% of the ad revenue from videos to the individual creators on whose video the ad ran. That's a really good model. It allows for growth. If you get more views, then you get more money. However, TikTok pays about 8% of the revenue that they gain per view to creators. Part of the reason for this is a little bit understandable, right? It's because ads on TikTok don't run on a video, they run between videos. The ads are not attached to any content directly, so these platforms can make the argument that the content is not what's causing people to watch the ads, even though why else would you be watching ads? But the larger problem is the creator fund model. TikTok has set out a set sum of money, and then every single day, the entire views on TikTok are aggregated, and people get money from that set pool based on what percentage of the views of that day were from their videos. The problem with this is that if more people start using the app and more people start making videos and more people start getting views, then the amount of money per person per day goes down. Because it's a fixed amount of money, the more that TikTok grows, the less its creators are compensated. And that is not only a reason why I'm leaving TikTok, it's probably a reason why you should too. Number four, commodifying yourself in short form video is terrible for your mental health. I want to ask, have you ever seen the content that's aimed at creators? Because there is a whole subculture, a whole industry of people who make content for other content creators. And that content is some of the most disgusting and depressing content I've ever seen, because it's all about maximizing engagement, creating a brand for yourself, posting the same thing on 6 different platforms so you can maximize your audience across different streams of revenue, thinking about how you can pack in dopamine hits into every 2 seconds of your video so people don't scroll away. Not only is all of that narrative bad for your messaging, but additionally, on a social media platform where your content is you, it's bad for you because you start seeing yourself only as a tool that can promote engagement for your brand. Additionally though, commodifying yourself in short form video is bad for your mental health because of a couple other factors. First of all, there's a constant fear of cancellation from followers. Second, our brains can't understand large numbers, so there's not really a good sense of what it means to have a 100,000 person audience. Third, there's a constant awareness of competition for views. When you're scrolling on TikTok or you post a video and see it appear on your following or your For You page, you know that your video is right there against everyone else's video and they're all competing for the same limited attention span of the TikTok viewer base. And there's a constant visibility of metrics, which not only promotes competition, but also even just comparison. I'm constantly comparing my following to everybody else who I think is in my niche, and that's not good either. Ugh, I'm like all sweaty. Number 5. There is no control over content distribution on the platform. And this argument works in 2 ways. First of all, there's the possibility of active censorship. We've all heard about shadow bans, and shadow bans is part of it, but there's also documented evidence of TikTok suppressing the content of POC or disabled creators. They would say to prevent bullying, and we would say because they can just do whatever they want. It's censorship. But the second part of this comes from the algorithm itself. The algorithm is a black box. We have no way of knowing what factors it considers or how heavily it considers them compared to other factors. Now, if you go on TikTok, you may be led to believe that actually people understand the algorithm very well because everybody will make content that's like, guys, if you make a 7-second video, you'll hack the algorithm. Guys, if you put this tag, you'll hack the algorithm. But they're all lying to you. Nobody understands how this algorithm works. We all just have little monkey brains that are really good at seeing patterns. So we're like, oh, if I post at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, I get 100,000 views. But if I post at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, I get 2 views. And we think there's a pattern there, but there's nothing there. We don't understand this algorithm. And it's just our little monkey brains who think we see a pattern. It's just the pattern-seeking brains, the same part of your brain that leads to racism. Number 6. TikTok prioritizes entertainment over education. For this argument, I'm not even going to say anything because I think it was captured best by one of my favorite artists and creators, Pusher. You can find him on TikTok at It's Pusher. Pusher, Marty, can I call you Marty? If you're watching this, we should definitely collab on something. But here's the Pusher argument. Here's why education is second to entertainment.
We've all liked a video on TikTok to save for another time and then never gone back to it. But have you ever wondered why? This app only cares about entertainment. So if you aren't entertaining the people, you can't win. You can try to save the world, but they'll skip you if the lighting is too dim. So open strong and make a good case. Do something fun like floating through space, because it won't get served if it doesn't engage, but it goes so much deeper than that. All of our media in capitalist society is for profits, shares, comments, likes, and ratings. And if it doesn't reach the target audience, the advertisers who run things will get up and leave. So we ignore things if they don't entertain, even though entertainment rarely remains. Try to remember what you liked yesterday. All of our cultural conversations are in the form of bite-sized context-free capitalist entertainment, and therefore will always play by those rules and come in second place.
Number 7. Political discourse on TikTok does not advance at all. First of all, TikTok, because it's an algorithmic environment, prioritizes basic arguments that everyone can understand. If I go on TikTok and I start talking about Deleuzian Metaphysics, I've lost every single follower I have right there. Second is that TikTok prioritizes worse arguments over better arguments. This is because there's no distinction made between positive and negative comments. So if you make an argument that intentionally has some flaws or some holes in your reasoning, people will shout all over that and complain about that and make a huge stink about it in the comments, and your video will get more views than an argument that doesn't have any logical fallacies. And if you want evidence of that, you can watch the YouTube video I made last year, where I show you some case studies. But third, and this argument comes straight out of our big boy Noam Chomsky, arguments that support the status quo do better in an environment that's limited by time constraints. If you have a minute to get everyone's attention and to make your point, it's a lot easier to do so if your point is Saddam Hussein's a bad person, as opposed to every single US president ought to be tried for their egregious war crimes. One of those arguments requires a little bit less justification because people already understand where you're coming from and what's going on. And so in an environment where you only have a minute, one of those arguments is going to be easier to sell than the other. Number 8, it is not in TikTok's interest to promote social activism. Any content, any TikTok that is encouraging people to sign a petition or donate to a mutual aid fund or do anything that isn't on the TikTok app, this content will be suppressed. And it makes sense why it will be suppressed. Because even though the algorithm is a computer construct that doesn't really have a human idea of intention, the objective function of TikTok's algorithm is to maximize your attention on the app. So any content that is trying to get your attention off the app will not be prioritized by the TikTok algorithm. In fact, it will be naturally suppressed because TikTok does not want people leaving the app. If you make a video and the TikTok's data shows that every time someone watches your video, they get off the app and donate to your mutual aid fund or something, TikTok's not going to show that video to more people because it's getting them off the app. Number 9, people on TikTok doing discourse are doing so in bad faith. And what bad faith means in this context is that they're not willing to change their mind. Now, everyone who talks about arguments and politics on TikTok will probably have the same spiel of, oh, I'm an open-minded thinker. If you convince me, if you show me the stats, I'll change my mind because I'm a, independent, big-brain, genius man, right? But if you go on TikTok and you start making content, and let's say you make 100 videos and gain 60,000 followers, being a conservative, being an anti-vaxxer, being anti-abortion, being a bad person, basically, @CracksBen, if that happens to you and you do that, you're never gonna change your mind. You're never going to be able to. Because if you do, if you make a video saying, guys, I really thought about the evidence and actually abortion is a fine thing, all your followers gone. All of your sponsorships gone. Any clout that you had on that platform immediately wiped away. No one's changing their mind. In the same way that you never see Tucker Carlson become a guest host on MSNBC. Number 10, TikTok chews up and spits out leftists. This is just kind of a descriptive claim from my own experience being a leftist TikToker for 3 years. When I started, there was an entirely different cast of leftist TikTok creators. In fact, if you go on YouTube and look up leftist TikTok March, April 2020, it'll be a blast from the past because most of those people have rather admirably moved on with their lives. Unlike YouTube, there isn't a stable, consistent year-over-year continuity or community of leftist creators. And this is, of course, because of all of the reasons I've stated above. This is also an additional reason why TikTok, one, has little political impact because there isn't a stable group of people making that political impact, and two, why leftist TikTok is dead and useless. Number 11, we are actively serving digital capitalism. Oh my God, I'm so sick. Bro, the Sigma variant, the Sigma variant. 2020 TikTok revenue was $1.9 billion. Just let that number sink in, okay? That's a lot of billions of dollars. 1.9 of them, to be exact. But all of us on TikTok, even though we may see a little tiny bit of that money through the creator fund, a little bit of cheese from TikTok, even though we may get a tiny bit, what we're doing by making TikToks, by appearing on TikTok, by using the app, by interacting with videos, is we are actively endorsing digital capitalism. But not only are we actively endorsing digital capitalism, the same thing that lots of us will make content actively complaining about, but we are endorsing the worst kind of digital capitalism, which is TikTok's digital capitalism. We are, by using the platform, endorsing one, monopolistic control over commodity distribution. 2, free digital labor. Most of the people who make TikToks are not compensated at all, and we're endorsing that system of free labor for the profit of $1 billion international corporation. And 3, no control over the value we generate. We had absolutely no say where that $1.9 billion went. We were just happy to get our little slice of the creator fund pie, a little bit of cheese. And all of the time we spend on TikTok is time that we could be spending on developing or supporting better platforms, because there are better platforms out there. YouTube is perhaps marginally better, but other platforms like Nebula are creator-owned, creator-run, no ads, no algorithms. There is a better world out there, and any time we spend on TikTok is distracting not only us, but all of our viewers from that better world. Number 12, the nuclear contradiction of leftist TikTok. TikTok runs on a model of individual social capital accumulation. Now, this isn't necessarily a problem. If your goal is to maximize your social capital on TikTok at the expense of the mental health and time opportunity cost of your audience, then you'll do just fine on TikTok. But if you're a leftist, like me or all the other leftists on TikTok, and your goal is to restructure society such that it's not organized around the mindless accumulation of capital, then what are you doing on an app that's organized around the mindless accumulation of social capital? You're using arguments, I use arguments, against capitalism, against trying to build capital for myself at the expense of others, in order to build capital for myself at the expense of others. And that makes me a hypocrite. That makes anybody else on leftist TikTok a hypocrite. And that makes us all caught in this contradiction. What are we doing here? What's the point? Why even bother? And number 13, my 13th reason why I'm leaving TikTok, and I think it's stupid, is because this video that you are watching right now will get 0 views on YouTube. I have spent the past year, in fact over a year, trying to promote my art and my YouTube channel on my TikTok account. And even though, friends, viewers, folks, even though I have 76.8 thousand followers on my TikTok, I only have 248 subs on my YouTube. And that is a great indication of how, even if TikTok has some sort of impact, even if it's meaningful in some way, that impact is entirely bounded to the platform that it's on. As I've said before, any content that gets people to engage with something that isn't on TikTok is content that is suppressed by TikTok, which is why this video will get no views, and that's why I'm leaving TikTok. I hate it. It's stupid. I'm no longer a leftist. I'm gonna become a capitalist and only post Among Us content on TikTok. So check me out next week for some Among Us TikToks. Among Us.